welcome to the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew. Details are at the bottom of your screen right now. It's more important than ever before that you do follow us on all of our social media channels because we are less than 20 days out from the government turning off community TV in Australia. Both Channel 31 and Channel 44 will cease broadcast at the end of June if the government get their way. Which it looks like is going to happen. So please follow us and also follow Channel 31 and Channel 44 to keep up to date with their plans going forward, as well as any petitions that you can sign, any updates coming forward in that regard. It's important now that we try and get the word out as far as we can to try and give us some hope of giving the community TV sector some relief. Hopefully we get a last minute reprieve like we have done in the past, but just in case we don't, again, details at the bottom of the screen. Please follow us, please Channel 31 and Channel 44. If you want to help us more directly, because like everyone else in the world, we've taken a hit with the crazy times we're in. So if you want to give us more support, we are doing a direct or a Patreon drive, I should say. So any help you can give us, please do check out that page and any support will be greatly appreciated. Now it's on to the fun stuff. We'll get the gloom and doom out of the way. Tonight we have something of a different episode for you. Myself and Nikki sat down via Zoom with Karl and Jen from Divine Ascension. We did a massive interview. The whole thing is online. It's about almost 2.5 hours worth of content there to go and check out if you like this band. But interspaced with that, the select bits that will be going into this 1 hour broadcast television, we've also got 2 clips from Divine Ascension, as well as 3 other local band clips. We have the latest from the Stripp, Hailmary, and the Black Skeleton, which has a few familiar faces in there, so make sure you check that one out when it comes along. So I'm not going to be around for much apart from what's happening in the interview. I'm just going to jump in now and jump out and come back again at the end of the episode. So without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, out there all, we've been joined tonight, well, Nikki and myself have been joined tonight by Karl and Jen from Divine Ascension. How are you?
Very well.
Hey, how you going? Good.
Very good to have you on board. It's been quite a while since we've spoken to Divine Ascension. I think the last time we chatted to you, Karl, was in 2015, I think.
Yep. And I was clean shaven.
Yeah, it's a while ago too. That video is out there somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it's somewhere. I've got it on a hard drive. So just for those who don't know you both, please introduce yourselves properly and your role within the band.
Sure. Do you want to go first, Karl?
I guess it's your turn, Jen.
All right, handball. I'm Jen, and Divine Ascension, we are a progressive melodic metal band, and we're based in Melbourne. And over to you, Karl. What do you do in the band? I'm the vocalist, by the way.
Me. Well, we've established that I create stupid memes for our social media. But other than that, I play a bit of guitar. And I'm basically having a bit of a race with Jason on whose beard can grow longer.
I know who's got that race won, mate.
He'd have to turn the camera the other way so that he could fit the whole beard.
Karl, we need you to start with the bicycle mow, the gelled mow.
It doesn't go that way.
It's going to get very uncomfortable very quick. You keep doing those first.
All right, I'm going to keep doing that for the next 30 minutes.
All right, cool. When you start pulling it out, let us know.
Okay, you can stroke the imaginary mow and I'll stroke my imaginary evil cat.
There we go, a little bit.
Oh, wow. All right, moving on. Now, as we said, the last time we had Divine Ascension was back at our very, very old studio in 2015 on the Liberator album cycle. It's now 2020. So what have you been up to for the last 5 years, just in a sort of condensed nutshell?
Oh, we wrote another album.
Yeah.
Europe.
Oh, yeah, we did that too. Yeah.
Europe got kicked out of Europe.
Yeah, we went to Europe.
We flew back.
Let's contemplate that for a moment. We've got so many sayings from our trip to Europe. Actually, like it's an ongoing. There's lots of things that are ongoing jokes, but we did a massive 6-week kind of tour around Europe, supporting Stradivarius, which was amazing, and Glory Hammer as well. So we shared a bus with Glory Hammer. That was interesting. We did some disco parties from place to place. With the coloured lights in the bus, which were heaps of fun. And then when we came home to Oz, we began writing The Uncovering, which is our latest album. And we've just also released a clip for that. So if that's one of your questions, you can stop me talking now because I can just keep talking. Karl, do you want to add anything from
I will ask the question because obviously I do want to talk about the uncovering, but what timeline are we talking? How long ago was it that you were touring Europe?
2015. So it was in 2015. Yeah, we did Australia. We did a few Australian shows.
We supported
then,
Blind Guardian?
Was that with Blind Guardian?
Yeah.
No, that was separate. So
okay.
We supported Blind Guardian for 2 shows.
Right.
We kind of tagged it in the kind of, grander scheme, but it was kind of our own Australian tour. So we played, basically the same cities. But Blind Guardian was 2 shows, Melbourne and Sydney. So we kind of did that in the same year. And then we went to Europe later that year.
So you were touring Europe in 2015?
Yep.
Right at the end of 2015, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it finished beginning of November, from memory. So it was basically October. We were touring October, beginning of November, I think.
Yeah, we interviewed you sort of mid to the second, third of the year, and you were going after that. So yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember when Blind Guardian was, but I remember the Australian tour was earlier in the year. I think it was around the first school holidays, so that like kind of April school holiday, I think. So yeah, first quarter of the year. Yeah, big year for us. And then we got basically relaxed because, for 5 years.
So if you're jumping forward, because you released The Uncovering in 2018, that's correct, I believe 2018 was late 2018?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did that have a particular region where it went better or not better? Was it a more uniform thing, or what was the general overall response? How did that go?
I don't know. It's a mixture, I guess. Like online, because I do a lot of the, social media and stuff behind the scenes, I look at all the different stats. Like when we compare it on things like Spotify and all those kinds of channels, it seems to be up there with Liberator.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about you, Jen. I found there was a lot less reviews and a lot less, advertisement around it. So from that point of view, it seemed to have not been received as well. But I don't know if that's a shift in the industry since we released Liberator. I don't know if that's...
It's hard to say because also, if we're kind of going back on a timeline, we released in 2018. Yeah. Vocals were recorded by probably November 2017. Drums were recorded in January 2017. Like it took that long to get the album ready. So I think there actually was a bit of a shift in the music industry between Liberator and The Uncovering. And then when we released The Uncovering, we did a video clip straight away, but we didn't release it at the same time because we didn't have any shows lined up in particular at that time. Lots of things, I think, contribute to not being able to tour. But because we didn't have any shows lined up, that could have been a contributing fact that we weren't. Yeah. It's hard to say, really, but it really felt different. That's all we could really tell, that it felt different from the Liberator release. Maybe there was a higher expectation. Don't know. But it felt different. It didn't feel as successful as what we wanted it to be.
I don't know about you, Jen, but I felt tired is probably the word. Like we did Liberator recording, and we recorded a lot of it ourselves with the exception of drums and vocals. So we did a lot of it ourselves. So, years before Liberator was even released, we were working behind the scenes, basically after hours every weekend. We release Liberator, then we do this Australian tour, then we do this European tour, come back and look for work for some of us. Go through the whole Christmas thing. Then we're writing back in the studio. We released The Uncovering. And again, it's from an outsider's perspective, it looks like we were doing nothing, but there was all these different things happening behind the scenes. And then by the time The Uncovering came out, we kind of just went, it's like a bit of it's done. And I don't know, again, being late in the year, we were going into Christmas. And
it was a late release, so it was like November or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be earlier, but, there were other things that cropped up in the way. And just delayed it and was a bit more, added to that being tired at the end.
Yeah.
I went through a fair bit while you were recording it because the keyboard left, you had to go back and revisit a lot of the stuff, didn't you? So it wasn't like you just sort of had the stuff. You went and basically I don't know if you rewrote, but you definitely re-imaged these things.
We reimagined it.
Yeah.
Because we've been
reimagined and rewrote, actually.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, like jumped
that's
on and,
really,
it was
really
big.
hard to do. You've heard something so many times and you're so used to it, then to go back and say, all right, well, I'm not going to listen to it like that anymore and do something different. That took a long time in itself.
So how much did coronavirus fuck with your launch? Because you had a few shows. Did you actually play the Geelong show? Did that happen or not happen?
You did
So the Melbourne part happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did. That was our last show.
Yeah.
Right.
We cancelled. What did we cancel, Jen? Sydney and Canberra.
Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, and we were going to. It wasn't confirmed, but was in talks with doing a Ballarat show.
Yeah, right.
And was in other discussions as well. So what we'd actually announced and what we were going to do was a bit different because we were going to do more afterwards as well.
Yeah.
It did actually, and it's quite full on because it takes a long time to put those things together, to find the right date, the right venue, the right bands to play with, and sort all those things out. So it's but lots of people have kind of had to cancel shows and stuff. So we're not the only ones, it's and it's better not to play shows in, kind of a unsettled world.
Yeah.
I mean,
you wouldn't be able to do it now anyway. I mean, it wasn't long after you cancelled that everyone got shut down anyway, so you weren't going to have it regardless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that was kind of my point. I feel like they had momentum, they had things booked, things were happening, and then everything just happened, And that sucks, and I'm sorry for you guys, and I really can't wait till whatever day that is when we can play some sort of shows and I can come and see you guys, and hopefully you can pick up where you started,
Yeah, well, it is what it is, I guess. We, just like a lot of other bands that cancelled shows, financially it hit us, but we're all, grateful to be working, so it wasn't a massive hit, I guess, for a lot of bands out there that touring is their livelihood. It'd be a much bigger hit than it would have, than it was for us at the time. Just a bit of a kick in the teeth that we kind of had all these things. Jen put a stack of work into the tour, and it just kind of went, oh, well, we can't do it. That's you don't get that time back.
Yeah,
you spend on it.
Does the uncertainty of what's coming up in that regard, because I personally don't think we'll have anything close to what resembles the old live music scene until there's a vaccine, probably another 6 months after that. So you're probably looking another 18 months, 2 years away, I would think, before we even get close to going back to the way it was. And by then the market will have shifted. So what have you already started to think ahead into what that's going to look like for the scene in general, for you guys as Divine Ascension? How do you see things playing out, and what are you trying to do to bridge that gap with digital, social, all sort of stuff as well?
Well, I think it's a kind of a bit of an interesting thing to try and plan ahead and say, all right, we're going to pick up where we left off and try and do those shows and so forth. But in reality, it's such an unusual circumstance. This is, we haven't lived through something like this before, so we don't know if there's going to be a second wave. We don't know if we're going to be back in venues in 4 months' time. We probably unlikely, but we just don't know how these things are going to pan out. I suppose it's the same as when you're writing an album. You just don't know how it's going to pan out. It depends on creativity and, where the writing takes you, because a lot of it is just based on instinct and how it unfolds. And sometimes it can take a year and sometimes it can take 3. So for me, I don't have any expectations placed on Divine Ascension, but I am kind of working more towards writing the next album rather than putting my energy into marketing what we've already done. Yep. Because I feel like bringing new music out at the end of this and potentially traveling on with that would be more beneficial for our souls and for our livelihood and our mental health as well, rather than picking up that album and trying to roll where we left off.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of, I want to move forward, but I don't want to discount what we've done.
Yeah.
It's going to be timing, I think, like where we're at with the next stuff, as to what we do.
Cool. Anything on that, Karl, or are you?
No, I pretty much agree with that. It's hard to say, you're going to do this when we don't know if you'll be able to do it. So like Jen said, it's hard to plan for something if you don't know that you'll be able to actually enact that plan. So the one thing that we can do and we can control is to write and create, which is literally why we started the band. We didn't start the band to go play shows every weekend. We started the band because we enjoyed writing music. The live shows were a bonus for us. That expression that we're able to put out into our music that people seem to enjoy is a bonus, but we started it because we enjoyed writing. So that's the one thing we can keep doing, and we've actually been super grateful for the time like we've had. Usually this time of the year is super hectic, so we wouldn't have had much time to do much writing, but we have. So
yeah,
bit of a silver
I
lining.
agree with that too. So I find sometimes when the world is hectic and your head just gets filled with lots of
Crap.
things and work and crap and dealing with life and people and whoa, dude, can't be creative, like sometimes you just got to take a breath. And for me, this whole situation has given me that, like, time to reflect, time to sit back. So the other albums were written in amongst the chaos of my life. And this one is might feel different. I don't know. Still might be chaotic. Who knows?
That's cool. Well, let's go to the present, the here and now, because for the Uncovering, you've got 2 singles in Evermore and the new one, Beyond the Line. So you always put a very emotive sort of weight into your video clips. It seems like that anyway. There's always a message, an emotional sort of anchor point to the video clips you release. So tell us about the 2, but I guess the main one being the new one, obviously, but just tell us about your video clips and what made you choose those songs and go with that sort of visual representation of them.
Jen?
Do you want to do Evermore, Karl, and I'll do the other one?
All right. What do you do? Halftime swap sides. There's another saying that we have in DA. On to you, Jason.
Yeah, I can take it if you want.
Damn.
Thanks. So Evermore was so you kind of wanting to know what's behind the scenes or why we do what we do, or
just sort of like why you chose those 2 songs to be represented in video form, and then like because all your videos have an emotive weight to them. So just how you get to that point and what I get more into the message of the video, so to speak, because it always ties into the content.
So it just depends on the track as well. So when I'm writing lyrics and stuff, generally always there's a story behind what's happening, and it depends how strong that pull is for me, as to if it needs to be told in video format, if that makes sense. So I feel like Evermore was a no-brainer for us. Like as soon as we heard that song together, it was in pieces when we were writing it. Like we were just piecing things together. And when it finally came together, it was like, it felt like something really special.
Have you seen that SpongeBob SquarePants meme where he's got like all the arms pointing in different areas? That's pretty...
Yeah. It kind of felt like something really special, and we decided that we wanted to do a video for it. And then I said, okay, well, this is what I feel from it, and we created the story. For the latest film clip, Beyond the Line, we weren't necessarily going to do another video for this album, and I said to the guys, I really feel drawn to this song, and I really feel like I need some kind of creative closure in a way for the song. Like I couldn't let it go. It was just like this thing that was was drawing me in. So I said to the guys
as well, like there's a lot to get drawn into with that song. So that what you're saying from an outsider's perspective also makes sense too.
Yeah, and for me, it's like it's closure from this relationship of this album. You know, like it's creative closure from this thing that I'm so connected to, and I wasn't able to kind of step forward and move on until I could get this out. And so that's, I think also with this album as well, I had with Beyond the Line, I had a very clear picture as to what it was about, what I wanted to portray. And I don't know whether that comes through in the video or not, but I felt like the song needed a video to be heard, if that makes sense at all.
Get it out into the world more fully, so to speak, get the full story of it out. Is that what you're sort of getting at in that?
There's so much on our album, like on the uncovering, there's so many things going on, and there's, in reviews, there were people pinpointing different songs, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't expect that Prisoner would be your favourite, or, you know, that, you know, Evermore would be your favourite or whatever. That was just very different for everyone, very different experience. And I feel like that song carries something unusual. I don't know what it is. And I felt like I didn't want that song to be overlooked.
Yep.
Yeah. Or overshadowed by other things. It's got something interesting in it that I can't even explain.
So, like when you get to the video itself, you've got the whole sort of sliding doors effect. You've got, you know, the positive outcome and the negative outcome.
Yeah.
How does that all come together in the mindset of the, you know, the creative mindset of the song and wanting to say goodbye to it? Does that link into what you're talking about now with you trying to move forward and being sort of stuck without that? Or I don't know, like, yeah.
Yeah, not really. It's kind of, the song itself is just it's literally about the chaos of my life, and and how sometimes it like takes you to breaking point, where you kind of have to make a decision, what to leave behind and what to move forward with. And so this idea was the idea that I took to the videographer. So I just said, it's about the chaos of my life, and I need to drop something to be able to make a decision, or to come out okay on the other side, or to not. So, you know, like, it's just about choices, really. Like, so, and how every day you make them, you know, and you get up and you can choose to be happy, or you can choose to, you know, like, try and sometimes you have that choice of being able to not be dragged down by those things.
Yep. Before we start to get right down to closing it off, if there's anything you'd like to say that we haven't covered off, or that you'd like to say to the audience out there, you've got a platform here that we're helping you to put out. So if there's anything you'd like to say, then open floor to you guys right now.
Jen and I are looking at each other going, who's going first? Oh, me. First things first, I'd say thank you guys very much for having us on.
No, our pleasure.
You know, it's like we do, you know, you do it purely for the love of what you do in music. So it's a real a privilege to come back for me, and have a chat. It's good to see you guys again, but thank you very, very much. Yeah. And I guess anybody who's listening or watching and has put up with us for the last half an hour and who's still here listening and watching, firstly, sorry. And secondly, thank you very, very much for you know, following us, taking interest in what we do. Like I said, we started because we enjoy what we do, and having people enjoy it too. And so much so that they're still following us after 3 albums, still putting up with my crap after 3 albums is really testament.
Cool. All right, Jen, your turn now. Follow that up.
Yeah, well, thanks guys for having us. Like, this is my first time on the Hard Rock Show, so absolute privilege to be here. And even though I was late, that you guys didn't even hold it against me or like anything, so that was like really nice of you. Because if it was reversed, you know, I'd be like,
Really?
guys, come on, what are you doing? But you guys were super nice about that, so that was really good. My fault there. But yeah, thanks to everyone that's decided to tune in, watch, and sit through all of this. Quite impressive if you have. And yeah, if you haven't yet heard the uncovering, we'd love to know what you think, because you know, we're just writing music that we love to write, and we are starting to write the next album at the moment. And you know, what's your favourite album? Is it Liberator? Is it Uncovering? Is it the first album, As the Truth Appears? And we're growing as a band, and hopefully the next album that we bring out, I'd like it to be showcasing something else and something different again. So yeah, always love to hear feedback, good and bad, and if we have to ignore the bad, we will, so that we can keep moving forward.
Hate mail to Jennifer Borg at blah blah blah.
Yep, that's not an email address.
Oh,
It's
damn.
Karl dot
Yeah.
String Theory.
All right. So I know it's very hard to plan anything at the moment with the world being the way it is, but just sort of what is your, whatever you can say, what do you think is the planning, or what you're hoping to get out of the next sort of window of time, year or two, whatever it is? What do you think you're hoping to get done in that period?
Ooh.
Hoping to get a new album.
Yeah. We haven't spoken about this, so lucky we're on the same page here. Yeah, I reckon new album, but I don't know when, like exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know
It's,
when.
I think it's just up to the creativity to flow, you know, like, and for it all to come together. So sometimes it, you know, writing a song happens really quickly, and sometimes it just doesn't. So, you know, it could come together in a year, hopefully. And then, yeah, I suppose we just have to roll with the punches and see what happens. But I'm constantly writing at the moment, but not everything is good. So, and I think one thing that we have is we're very critical of our writing, and we like to pull it apart, put it back together, and then do it again to try and get the best out of our stuff. So, yeah, it takes as long as it takes.
Yep.
We're okay with that too.
New album 2025.
Look, I think you're setting some expectations here, Karl, and
Just in time for your 20th anniversary, then.
20th anniversary, God.
I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah, when you start putting things in perspective, it makes it interesting for you, doesn't it?
No, that's interesting. That's one way to look at it. Wow, 20 years.
Okay.
Also, Karl's been sporting a beanie, and these beanies are available for purchase on our website. I honestly, my motivation is I need some room in my garage. So if you guys want to buy some beanies, then it will free up some space in my garage for the next lot of merch. So bye for winter. It'll keep your ears warm.
Get kept warm. Get some of that. Get some. I need some. I'll buy some.
All right. There you go. You made one sale at least. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you both so much for taking the time to do it, and to Nikki as well for taking the time out of her schedule for being a part of this one tonight as well. And this may well be our last interview for TV while I'm at it too. I don't know. It depends on what happens with community TV. So that's another one going to be into the stopping and airing of community TV. But very, very cool to have you both on the show. First time for Jen, second time for Karl. It's good to meet new people and reacquaint friendships once again. So thank you to you both, and to everyone sticking around and watching this nonsense. If you're watching the full video online for a couple of hours, then yeah, you've done very well. But that's it from me, and that's it from us. So I guess say your farewell, and we'll move along, I guess.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, you two. You've both been amazing. I've loved it. It's been awesome.
It's been a hoot.
My pleasure. I didn't have to go very far either. It was the best.
He ever for television.
And Mary Castro.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
I think that's the perfect one to sign off. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
That's it for this week. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Now, if you want to check out more of the interview we did with Karl and Jen from Divine Ascension, then please follow the band first and foremost, but also check out the full interview we did. It's online now as this goes to air for you. Our details are at the bottom of the screen right now. It's again, like I said at the top of the episode, more important than ever before to follow us on social media, because at the end of the month, the community TV stations will be getting a switch-off order from the government, and there'll be no more Channel 31 and Channel 44 broadcasting into your television screens or wherever you are watching this. So please make sure you follow those two stations as well to keep up to date with the latest, and hopefully we do get a last-minute reprieve like we have had in the past. We would love to see community TV stay on the air in this country. Obviously, it's a very valuable resource. Just wish the government would wake up and see that. If you'd like to help us more directly, we are doing a Patreon drive at the moment, so please do check out our Patreon page, and any little bit of help you can give us, any little bit at all, would be greatly appreciated and help us to keep the lights on here and allow us to do a lot more than we currently are. But that's it for this week. Like I said, we'll be back again next week. I'm not sure. I'm trying to do all this on the fly with everything social distance wise and stuff. And I know that's not technically the case. We are working our way back into filming and that. So at the end of the month, you'll get a special episode from us, which will be a massive thing. Follow us online for that. But next week, I think will be a celebration of a different kind with more music videos coming away. But I'm not going to spoil it here yet. We'll do it all via social media. But that's it for now. Thank you all for tuning in. On behalf of everyone here at THRS, we'll see you next week. Until then, drink up, rock on.
It looks like that's recording, which is ideal. That's the plan.
All right. Everyone sit up straight and be sensible now. We're recording.
Yeah, we'll ignore the last 45 minutes. And
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that.
the only thing to keep in mind, which we probably should have mentioned up before this point, but I think you might have done it last time. I'm not sure, but we did the bin where you put something in the bin at the end.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
I've
what
got one.
anything that pissed you off recently, doesn't matter what it is, anything goes. Whatever has pissed you off recently can go in the bin. It's just it's a vent session at the end of the interview.
I know what Jen's is going to be. Zoom.
Yeah. Bloody computers. It's already boiling.
Thoughts anyway.
No spoilers.
I know what mine's going to be. It's going to be that spelling of the.
The THA.
Hey, you're a math teacher, not an English teacher.
That's one of the words I can spell right.
All right.
Get an A+ for that, Karl. Well
Yeah.
done.
No, don't use A because that's the letter that I have a problem with.
Mm,
You want an E minus?
I want an E.
apologies. It's my
Oh,
mind.
Jen, it was going so well.
My apologies to your fan base. The guitars are all meant to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. The guitars are fine.
Of course they were, Karl.
All the guitars are absolutely fine. Some of the vocal layers I would actually take out if I could go back again now. Are you there?
Take it
You
out.
all right?
There we go.
Upside down. Upside
Nikki
down.
didn't want to have me keep the first one, so we got another thing in place. That's all right.
Oh, yeah, I had to charge the phone. Anyway.
I was thinking about that. There's actually a song that I really want to do a cover of, but I've never told anybody.
Okay.
Oh, go on, still.
Exclusive, is it?
No, well, you remember that song by Steps?
5, 6, 7, 8.
It's getting baby.
Oh, man.
Me and say my obsession with the legend that the dance
You're the
song.
pen paper, it's not
Yeah.
fucking up.
Feel how da, 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 da. Make your mama get in love. Yeah. Could it be?
Jason does it.
Yeah, give me that song.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Guys.
Jason, our bass player Jason, he's got a
Yeah.
lovely voice. So yeah.
Ah, excellent.
Give me an answer.
Karl doesn't do it.
You sound like Ross Noble trying to do that.
I can do that one, and I can do Frank Walker from National Files. That's about it.
Hey! Come on, give me a Frank impersonation. I want to see it.
That's a bonus track of this interview.
You're such a filthy tease, Karl. You're such a filthy tease.
That's what makes the world tick.
You need to like bob down out of the video shot and go, well, hello.
Now you've done it.
Oh, don't encourage him.
Do it, Jen. Encourage him.
Like those ones. Can we do the top one?
Hello.
Now
Frank
just,
Walker.
That table there was very, very, like the corner of the table was in a very awkward position. And if I ever want to become a father one day, I better not do it.
I don't trust my children's education to your brain. No stress.
Now they're like, I'm trying to sit on the couch and they're not sitting. I got jeans on. You know when you got jeans?
I was telling Andrew I went for a 20k bike ride yesterday. I feel like you might be a little bit like, ooh, after a 20k bike ride. Yeah, wow. I feel that.
No.